while we've talked about some different apps to focus on mindfulness, to focus on breathing, some of the other areas that we want to talk about are journaling. So I would love to hear in the chat right now, how many of you, or do you guys have any great journaling activities or tools? So if you want to go ahead and toss it in the chat, any great journaling activities that you do, or if you do journaling with your students. So while you guys are writing that in, I want to share with you a couple of resources that I've found that have been helpful. So for some students, especially those that maybe struggle with writing, or maybe have had their writing used against them in the past, right? Like they've written out their feelings and then they've gotten in trouble for writing mean things about people, right? It can be really hard to try to get students to open up in writing. But we also know that by students telling their story, it can really help them be able to express what's going on in their heads. I'm not saying anybody put anything in for journaling. This might be something people don't use as often. So what's fun is if journaling or processing and writing helps your student be more successful in class, be more independent in their day, this can actually be assistive technology. And this can be, there's a lot of high-tech apps for that, but there's also some low-tech options here. And I wanted to share a couple of them with you. So one of them that I've had a lot of success with is called Hero's Journal. And there's a picture here of that. What it shows is sort of 3 pictures that are more of a animated line drawing type picture with some writing blanks. And what this is a journal that actually is set up more as a quest. So it is going to ask, what is your big quest for today? Like you're on a big journey. And then it's going to say, what are the, what were the, dragons you faced today? And it's going to ask questions as you go along. So instead of just giving students a blank page and saying, here, write in this is going to actually almost make it like the student is writing their own journal, their own story, their own journey, right? Now, what's fun here is the Hero's Journal. While this is a print book that you can buy, when I talked to the company, they are wonderful people. They actually gave me a free download of one of their journal books and gave me free reign to be able to give that out when I'm doing trainings like this, so you can see it. So there is a link here. Please do not share it with the universe. But it is a free download for one of their original journals called Legends of Astoria. They always have new ones coming out like every year or so. But you can actually download this and print off pages of it to try with your student to see if this style of journaling helps them before you go do the purchasing. There's another example down here. This one's called Big Life Journal. This one's a little more colorful. But again, instead of asking students to write full pages, this one is going to provide some sort of visual pictures. So for example, the one on the screen here says a river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. And then it's going to say, like, think of something in your day that was hard. What were you learning? It was difficult and I felt, and the students can mark off how they felt. So again, instead of asking them to, write full pages, this allows them to fill things out and kind of walk them through it. So one of the nice things about these types of journals where it's asking these questions, it can kind of take the place of what you guys were doing earlier when I had asked, what do you guys do if a student is feeling anxious? This journal can ask the questions, so it's not an adult doing it, right? It's providing more of that independence. And believe it or not, I've actually seen journals written in and journaling written in as an assistive technology having access to different types of journals. I have another person in the chat when I asked about journaling. We had one person that said that they journal by drawing. Absolutely. She will draw out a story or a feeling in a graphic novel sort of way. What a great strategy. And that can go on forever, right? You can grab a napkin when you're out at a restaurant somewhere and draw out that scenario if you are feeling anxious in that moment. Then we talk too about that executive functioning piece. So if we have students who are feeling overwhelmed, if they are feeling anxious, we can put supports in place to support that executive functioning need. That's going to allow students to be more independent, more self reliant, help decrease some of that anxiety. And a lot of times it can also help with positive social interactions. Not only because if we're anxious, we're more likely to, snap at our friends and things like that, but also it's important to remember your friend's birthday, right? It's important to remember what your friends like and don't like. So having supports in place for that can really help decrease the anxiety. It can also help with forming friendships, which we know helps with depression. So executive functioning supports could be different types of calendar apps, different types of visual supports like checklists, reminders and to-do lists, alarms and timers. Someone in the Padlet had already put time timers in there, so wonderful. And again, anytime that your students need these tools in order to be independent, these should be written in as assistive technology. And oftentimes we may use these with students, but we don't get to the point of realizing that they are assistive technology tools. If a student is using it to become more independent, right, or it's increasing or maintaining their independence, it is assistive technology for that student. And then here are a couple of other things I want to talk about from an executive functioning standpoint is there some apps for that? And remember earlier we said that sometimes technology can be um, a tool to help students be less anxious, to deal with depression, to deal with, mental health struggles. We also know that sometimes it goes the other direction. And these are the last couple tools that I want to show you today. These are tools that sort of help block the use of technology. Now, these tools are ones that will allow a student to choose to lock their device, okay, or sort of block certain things. This first one's called Forest, and this one actually works as a web browser or as a Chrome extension in a web browser, an iOS and an Android device. This one is called Forest. And this one's the one I think that's been around probably the longest of the ones that I'm going to show today. And they all work kind of similarly. So with this particular one, a student is going to choose to plant a tree. And they're going to say, I want to focus for, say, 15 minutes. And once they've planted that tree, it can work in one of two ways. Either you can say that it's going to block everything on the computer or the tablet or the phone, whatever you're on. It's going to block everything. Great. Or you can say it's going to block everything except for email. You can pick what it allows. Or you can say it's going to allow everything except it's going to block this, or it's only blocking, maybe Facebook, okay, whatever it is. Then once you hit start, it's going to start growing that little tree that you planted. And if you go to touch the phone, change to the Chrome browser, whatever your device you're on, if you leave this and go someplace you're not supposed to, it's going to warn you that your tree is going to die. If you keep going, your tree is going to die. Now, it's amazing to me the number of times that I've worked with a student on saying, don't do, like, we're going to only be on this for 15 minutes. And then you kind of have to fight with them about it. But if it's going to kill their little animated tree, it's amazing how much they will stay off of something because they don't want to kill their little animated tree. Okay. Now, afterwards, it kind of shows here, you get a little forest for the week, and it's going to show all of the trees that you planted. And it's going to also show the dead ones if you have dead trees. Okay. Now, we have a couple of other options. There's some newer ones that have come out. As students get older, sometimes I've had students that really prefer this and have actually taken this off kind of into their college years. This one's called Focus Traveler. Same concept of blocking things, except this one you get little characters that are traveling. And the longer you have your device blocked from doing things that are time wasting type things, the further your little travelers go. And then there's one called Focus Plant. This one has little animated plants with little faces on them. and you actually get to water your little plants depending on how long you have your phone or your tablet locked. So again, especially as you're working with students who are older and are maybe developing some habits around social media or things that are affecting their mental health. A lot of times these work really well if you're working with older students who maybe are spending a lot of time on devices, on things that they have identified make them feel kind of crappy. You can talk with them about ways to sort of block those things and sort of gamify it to make it a little bit easier. Now, as we are, forgot I added one more in here. This one's called Avocado, and this one's focused, but this time it's a cute little avocado. I really wanted to bring in these last ones to show you that there are so many different types. And so this is kind of fun. This is a way to help students not be on their phones or on the tablets quite as much, but in a fun way. Now, as we are wrapping up here, I do have a few other slides in the slide deck. You have access to the handouts, so I don't want to, race through them all. You have access to be able to see them. But I do want to jump ahead to one additional tool, and this is my one AI tool that I bring out because I think this is really powerful when we're talking about mental health. And you don't often think about AI and mental health together, but this is a really cool tool. So this one's called goblin.schools. It's a website. The website is free. There is an app. The app is not free. There are a variety of tools here that you can check out. I'm not going to show you all of them. But the one that I really like for mental health, this one's called Compiler. Okay. Now, again, make sure you're abiding by whatever policies your district has in place for things. But this can be a really great tool, especially again for some older students, to be able to sort of process everything that's going on. So I'm going to demonstrate this quick. This tool is called Compiler. And what it's going to do is allow you to use either typing or speech to text to talk through what's going on in your day. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. So today was such a rough day. I have so many things that I need to do. I forgot my backpack on the way to school this morning. So now I have to try to remember to bring my gym shoes to school tomorrow because otherwise I'm not going to be able to go to gym class tomorrow. And it was Sally's birthday and I've got her party tomorrow and I haven't gotten her a present yet. And I still need to sharpen my pencils. And I know when I get home, Mom's going to want me to clean the litter box. Okay. So this is a pretty standard type of thing when a student is feeling really overwhelmed, right? All of these things are in their heads. And with this tool, you can turn it on and just ramble. And when you click turn into tasks, it's going to actually take that list and give you what you need to do. So from all of that rambling, it's telling me I need to remember to bring gym shoes to school, get a present for Sally's birthday, sharpen the pencils, and clean the litter box. So it's a way to really help students practice going from the chaos that they may be feeling into a simple list, which then you can support them in writing down and kind of having a checklist. So kind of one of my favorite tools for helping students kind of process through things and break it into a smaller to-do checklist.